Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, I wanted to come on here for a few minutes, just to tell y'all a few things, just to touch on a few things. And touch on a few things and to let you guys know that Pick a Struggle, the Pick a Struggle show will be back um, next Sunday. Pick a Struggle will be back next Sunday. And regular broadcasting will be back next Sunday at 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And to kick off everything, I wanted to talk to you guys. Well, you know, whenever whenever I pop up on here by myself, let me say, whenever I pop on here by myself, it's really a therapeutic session for me because I have because previous times I have gotten on here and ran my mouth, talked about some stuff, and so it's very therapeutic for me. And so it's Monday. Happy Monday to everybody. And I wanted to talk about something that's been heavy on my mind for a minute. And so I wanted to kick off the Pick a Struggle show, but by coming here today. Now, we do motivational Mondays or motivate Mondays. We do that every Monday. Well, we've been trying to. I swear to God, we've been trying to. LaPree and I, we've been trying to be dedicated to certain aspects of the show. We've been trying to, but we do have regular lives. We are regular people. We do regular stuff. So sometimes the regular stuff get in the way of what we want to do sometimes. So since I got a few minutes today, so I wanted to, jump this off before we actually get into the meat and the potatoes of some stuff. Before we get into our regular show, I wanted to do a Motivate Monday today. So today, if you haven't read the caption or you haven't read the leave her alone. Sorry, child, my dogs, they just for Jesus. But I wanted to talk about today while it's on my mind and while it's fresh on my mind. I wanted to talk about the power of forgiveness because it's only because due to what has been happening to me, and what I've witnessed and what I've been seeing and what's been happening. It kind of it has been laying on me for a minute, and so I wanted to come on here and talk about it. So, forgiveness, and this really ain't got nothing. This ain't got nothing to do with this. It's nothing biblical, but it's just something that that kind of does ring true to us when we talk about forgiveness. When we talk about forgiving other people, when we talk about how we deal with how people have treated us, we, you get what I'm saying? You smell what I'm stepping in. It's not something, this is what the Bible say. This is what the Christians say. It's really based on what we have been living in, or specifically me, what I've been living in. I realize forgiveness is really a huge deal. So, for those who don't know, okay, for those who don't know, my mom had passed away in December. And here we are in March, and I'm still dealing with it. And, some people say, oh, Dre, you mourning your mom. It never goes away. It's something that will always be there. Yada yada yada. Blase blase. Yeah, I get that part. Yeah, I get that. But it's certain stuff that I'm dealing with now, or that I've been dealing with since her passing, that's been heavy on my mind. So let me give y'all. Let me, I'm trying to figure out where to start. As I'm kind of rambling, I'm trying to figure out where to start. So when my mom had passed away, of course, I immediately went into the good memories. Oh, I did this with my mom, and oh, we did this together. I remember when my mom said this, immediately my mind went to that. But that was when I was with other people. When I was with other people, that's when I will immediately think of the good memories. But then when I go home and I'm by myself and I'm in my room, everything is dark. Chap, my whole house looks like the goddamn bat cave. That's how dark it is. I got blackout curtains. I really don't turn any lights on. Like, it's really dark here. So when I'm at home and I'm by myself, that's when I'm thinking about the bad memories. You get what I'm saying? I'm thinking about how my mom treated me when I was a kid, and how she talked to me when I was a teenager, and then how she dealt with me when I became an adult. With me being by myself, I start thinking about the bad memories and the stuff that happened to me in the past. I start thinking about that. And then I go into, well, how do I properly mourn her? How do I properly deal with everything, knowing that I got bad memories of her? You get what I'm saying? And so I'm dealing with that, and then at the same time, I'm figuring out how to deal with my father, with my dad. I'm trying to figure that out. How do I deal with my emotions? Basically, at layman's term, at the bottom line, at the end of the day, I'm trying to figure out how to deal with my emotions with people that I feel that did me wrong, or I have these bad memories and I have these bad thoughts about them. So I'm sitting there trying to figure this out, and I have not come to a proper conclusion about it. And if I don't come to a proper conclusion about some stuff, I will just shut down, and then I don't talk to people. I just, I will stay in my head and I won't deal with it. You get what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Not that I won't deal with it, but I will be forever thinking about it and I don't express it, and I'm just left there by myself trying to figure stuff out. You understand? So if y'all ain't figured it out yet, I am a gay male. Okay. And so my upbringing with me being gay, I'm trying to figure out my emotions, and I'm trying to figure out the past, and trying to figure out how to deal with the past. How do I deal with my emotions from the past? You get what I'm saying? And when I haven't figured it out, I will not talk to anybody about it. I won't talk to anybody about it. I might express it a little bit. like let me say this. So if I haven't figured it out, I would just tell people what it is and how it is. Because there has been times where I will open my mouth and say something just to get it off my chest, but at the same time, I haven't figured out how to feel about it. I hope that's making sense. God, I hope that it's making sense. Okay. So with my mom's passing, and then I remember the bad stuff that happened when she was alive. I'm also trying to figure out how to feel about my father all at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out past emotions, and I'm just trying to figure out. I done said that about 50 times by now, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out some stuff. I'm trying to figure out how to deal with some stuff so that I can either move forward. I'm trying to figure out how to move forward. Sam, Jesus, man, calm down. Leave Jazz alone. Okay, simmer down. My bad, my dogs they acted out. But I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out my emotions, and I've done this before. Figured out some stuff by sitting there and just pondering on it. But so far, I have not, and because of recent stuff that has happened, it's pushing it to the front. Some stuff, some stuff you put on the back burner, you really don't think about it. It's just simmering. But because of the recent stuff that has happened, I'm pushing those emotions and I'm pushing those thoughts to the forefront. So back in the day, so let me give y'all a little brief history, and I promise you, it's gonna circle back to, it's gonna circle around to today's it's gonna circle to my message today about forgiveness. Okay, but just give me a minute. Like I said, this is an emotional thing for me, and I'm working this out as I'm talking to y'all. As I said out loud, I'm trying to work it out all at the same time. So I remember back in the day, when things were cool. So back in the day, I have been caught, or I got in trouble with watching gay porn, and I also got in trouble with wearing women's clothes. And this is before I actually declared, or I came into before I came into myself, before I actually said out loud and I actually declared and I actually followed through, like, okay, I'm gay. This is who I am, yada, yada, yada. This is before then. And so when I got caught doing those things, I used to get whoopings for it. I used to... What did you do? Oh, my God. Okay, sorry. I would get in trouble and I would get whoopings. But according to some people, when I tell them this, they was like, oh, you was beat. But, I got whoopings for getting caught doing those things. And at the time, I didn't think nothing of it. At the time, the only thing that I thought about was, oh snap, I'm in trouble. So let me figure out how to not get in trouble for it, or how to not get caught. You get what I'm saying? I would get in trouble, get a whooping, and then I will be like, oh, okay, I got my whooping, I got in trouble. So let me try to figure out how to not get caught next time. Because there's been several times I got caught wearing women's clothes, and there's been several times I got caught watching gay pornography. Mind you, this is before I was even 16. I was in middle school. I want to say middle school or elementary. I want to say elementary was the first time I got in trouble for the stuff that I was doing. And then in middle school, I got in trouble again doing the same stuff. And so this what happened. So I will be living with my mom, And then I would get caught doing those things. And then my mom would be like, I can't figure out what the hell to do with you. So I'm going to call your daddy. So your daddy would come and deal with you. And so my dad would come and he would punish me by whooping me, and then he would talk to me. He would talk to me, whoop me, and then talk to me again. And so at the time, I didn't think none of it. It was just okay, I got in trouble for it. Let me figure out how to do it again without getting caught. That's what it was. And then, and mind you, I really didn't have gay people around me. It was just me doing me at the time. And so when I got older and I had this one friend that I started telling, I told him this. I told only one, maybe two people. I told two people what happened to me. Like, I was doing this when I was a kid, and then I got in trouble for it. And one person that I told, who was also gay, he was telling me, Chad, you was abused. You literally, like, your parents tried to beat the gay out of you. And I didn't think of it that way. And then, excuse me, when I got older, because what he said, what the person that said that I told this to, what he told me, I lingered on it and I thought about it. And then, especially when I listened to other gay men's stories, I was like, oh snap! Like, what is this my narrative of having the gay beat out of me or had the gay prayed away, kind of thing? Like, did I have that on me? And so the older I got, and then the more I lingered on it, the more distant I really became. The more distant I became with my parents. So I would either, with my mom, because I was physically living with her, I moved away. And then with my father, I emotionally moved away. So I became more distant with both my parents because I felt as if I was done a disservice kind of thing. Because I'm just like, especially when I would see other stories about other people coming out as gay, or other men coming out as gay. They had such a beautiful experience with their parents, and the parents are like, oh, I love you and I accept you and yada yada yada. And then I'm thinking back on my situation. I was like, well, I didn't have that. Something must be wrong with them. So I became very, 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 very distant from my parents. And so later on in life, like after moving out and being out on my own and other stuff, I became, even though my dad was in a whole nother state, or I was in a whole nother state rather, because he's always been in Arkansas, but my mom was in Texas, where we all lived. And even though I moved away and I was dealing with regular life stuff, like, trying to pay bills, trying to be an adult, and, just trying to survive in regular life, my mom was there to help me out. When I'm like, oh, Mom, I had a bad roommate. I have to move back in with you. Okay, you can move back with me. Or, Mom, I need a car. Can you help me out? She would help me out whatever way she could. Or, I need gas money. Mom, can you help me out? Mom, I need food. Can you help me out? You get what I'm saying? So whenever I needed just a little bit of help, my mom was there for me. And so all of the bad memories that I did have, or all the memories I had of how she dealt with me as a gay male, kind of washed away, kind of put on a back burner on some stuff, only because she had me out with other stuff. And only because it wasn't like because you're gay, I'm not going to help you. Like, my mom never did that. it was, you my child, so, I'm going to help you out. And so, because I spent most of the time with my mom, and whenever I needed help, she was there, all the bad memories kind of got, not went away, but I really didn't dwell on them as much. And I think, okay, so that, that's what I realized. But then with my dad, my dad, we've been having this conversation on how I really don't call my dad, I really don't call my father as much, and I really don't converse with him a lot. And so he would get frustrated with me. And he will go, is it that you don't mess with me no more? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's happening? And from what I have been thinking about and what I've been experiencing, I've realized I did not have that. I didn't have the moments with my mom that I had with my dad. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have that. My dad helped me out of this certain situation, or I needed this, so my dad helped me out. Like, I really don't have that with my dad. So all the raw feelings that I was dealing with, they're still on my mind. You get what I'm saying? I hope that's making sense. And it's not from a, like, my dad had never helped me, so I don't like him kind of thing. It's not like that. Or my dad never gave me any money, so I don't like him and I don't mess with him. It's not like that. I don't have any memories in my late teens or my early adulthood. I don't have any connection really with him. I don't have any new memories that I can just go back on, because everything that I think about, it goes back to childhood kind of thing. So it's like I don't have any new things to go off on. So I just don't have that same connection that with him that I had with my mom. You get what I'm saying? I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. I hope you smell what I'm stepping in. So I don't have that new stuff. So I think that's why I'm still distant from him. And, if and when he listens to this, I hope that he understands what I'm talking about. I really do hope so. And it's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but it goes back to what I said previously, because I don't have that. Like, whenever I'm trying to figure stuff out, I won't talk about it. You get what I'm saying? I don't talk about it with the person that I have the problem with, because I ain't figured it out yet. But I need to talk it out, but I don't have that connection with my parents, really. I don't have that connection where I can truly and 100% be myself with them. And, it's kind of sad, but I'm trying not to cry. But I just don't have that. I don't have that connection with my parents where I can be just totally be myself and talk to them about some stuff. So because I don't have it, therefore I don't try to reach out and try to be. I don't try to reach out to them and have them listen to me, and for them to further understand who I am as a person. I don't have that connection with them at all. Even with my mom, even though what I said earlier, it was certain stuff I still couldn't talk with my mom. You get what I'm saying? Even now, I'm damn near 30. And I still don't. And it's so funny because I remember watching my older cousins. They would sit there and smoke and talk and curse with their parents, older cousins that I had. And I was like, oh God, that's kind of weird. Like, why are you doing this? And then now that I'm their age now, I don't have that type of relationship with my parents. Never had. Like, I would sit there and listen to my mom talk about some stuff, and I would give my opinions on it, but it's never been this is what I'm dealing with in my community. I've never had that conversation of this is what I'm dealing with being in the gay community. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure my sister, my older sister, I'm pretty sure she had conversations with my mom about her baby's father or her boyfriends or whatever. Pretty sure they did. I don't know, because they ain't gonna tell me. But I don't have those conversations. And then my older sister on my father's side, I'm pretty sure she's had conversations with my dad about certain stuff. But I just do not have those. I don't have that. I don't have that kind of conversation, and I don't want to force it on them. I remember my mom. Before my mom had passed, she was like, "Andre really don't bring people. You don't bring his friends around." And I really didn't bring them around because I really couldn't have those conversations with her about who I was seeing, who I was dating, and who this and who that. I really didn't have that I didn't have that with her. So it was just, as far as she knew, I didn't have no damn friends. So I never had those conversations with them. So therefore, I really don't feel like sharing anything else. Because to me, that's like the top thing. You get what I'm saying? Me being gay is not a top priority for me. But when it came to my parents, I wanted to have those kind of conversations, but I just never did. We never did. And so, because the top domino was not pushed, everything else just stood still. You get what I'm saying? And so, so with that, and then but the weird thing is, I will have new memories and I will have other stuff to do with my mom. It kind of grew me. I was always a mama's boy because I was the only son. So, but with us creating new memories and new conversations and all this other stuff, that led me into forgiving my mom of all the wrongdoing, in my opinion. It led me to the forgiveness. You get what I'm saying? And so, and because I didn't have that with my father, I am so distant from him. And I know it makes him mad, and I know it kind of, it makes him feel a certain type of way, but like, I really don't know. I don't know how to, explain it to him, because I'm still trying to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? And so, because I had the new memories and whatnot, it led me to forgiving my mom, because she passed away, and I got to actually deal with some stuff. It was like, okay, I forgive her, and I'm going to try to remember the good stuff, and yada, yada, yada. And so that's why I'm still mourning. Every time I bring up my mom in regular, degular, schmegler conversations, I end up getting emotional because I love that woman. Not loved, I love that woman. That woman, she was and is my inspiration. Who was this sexy man? Ooh, hold on right quick. Let me see who this is. I'm gonna text her later. But because what was I saying? Because of because I have a lot. I got more good than bad. I was I was able to forgive my mom and be like, oh, maybe she didn't know what she was doing. I am the only. I was the first gay child that she had to deal with. And she used to tell me my mom used to tell me some horrible stuff. My mom used to say some very horrible, bad stuff that a child did not want to hear. And my father was the same way. My dad had told me some stuff that I just I did not need to hear and I did not want to hear. But because I don't have, I really don't have that memory. I don't have any new memories. I don't have any new occasions that I have my dad be like, oh, I remember when we did this, when I was an adult. Everything is based on when I was a child. And I feel as if I was abused as a child. You get what I'm saying? Because with me doing the things that I got caught doing, I felt as if it really wasn't a bad thing. Because I really wasn't harming anybody. And especially compared to what my brother did. That to me, he was on a whole nother platform than me. So because I don't have that new stuff to I don't have any new things to talk about with my dad. And then another thing that that kind of frustrates me because people know, everybody who knows me know I like to drink. Okay, I like to drink. It has nothing to do with like my drinking. It does not affect my job. It doesn't affect how I treat people. It doesn't affect anything else. I just like to have a drink. Okay, I like to have a few cocktails, not even a cocktail, because I drink my stuff straight. But I like to have a drink, and my dad will make fun of me about that. We was on the phone. I was on the phone with him. I was on a three-way phone call with him and his friend. He was like, "Man, Dre like to get drunk. I remember last time I saw him, he was sitting there crying. Like, why is you telling people that? Like, why is you telling people that? Or you sitting there reminding me, oh, when I was drunk and I finally saw you, I was crying. I am an emotional being, okay? Blame it on my grandma. Hell, blame it on my zodiac, because my grandma is the same zodiac sign as me. Shit. Blame it on that. I am very emotional. Okay. And so, with my dad, even though I was not that close to him, I love my father and I love him. And I do look up to him. And so when there were times where I didn't see him there was a time where I did not see him for a very long time, and then I finally got to. I did get emotional and I did cry. And that was because I was so full. And I missed him. Okay. And for him to make fun of it, I was just like, well, yeah, fuck you too then. That's how I was feeling. And then when I would get on the phone with him and he goes, you been drinking? Because I start opening up to my dad, a little bit more and start being myself. You must have been drinking because you talking this, you saying this, you saying that. And I'm just like, dude, I'm trying to get, this is my way. My way of getting close to people is by talking to them and then being more open and, stop being so reserved and, child, I don't know. But let me tell y'all something. Because, I really don't even want to talk about that anymore. But, forgiveness. Let me wrap this up so I can go. So because I had so many good memories with my mom, I was able to forgive her, and I was, and that's why I'm still mourning for that woman because I still love her and I still miss her, and I looked up to her, and and even with my older sister, because I got bad memories with her, according to me, this is my feelings. I still got bad memories with her, but because of our mother's passing, I was able to look over stuff that happened in the past and be like, girl, let me call you, let me check up on you. Or let me answer when you do call. Let me, go over just a little bit more. Let me try to do a little bit more because I was able to forgive and not necessarily forget. I mean, that part, that forgetting part, is duh, duh. Nobody forgets what the hell happened to them. But let me not use that memory as a weapon to why I just don't fuck with you. You get what I'm saying? But because I'm not that close to him. Because I'm not that close to my dad, I just the stuff I'm trying to not the stuff I'm trying to forget, but the stuff I'm trying to move over, the stuff I'm trying to get over, I can't because I can't be myself. I can't be myself around him. And so, child, the motivational message? Please forgive people. Forgive people. And it's not necessarily forgive them and be more around them, but it's like forgive them just so that you won't have that on your mind always. Don't just don't do it. Don't let the past dictate your future, kind of thing. Don't let the stuff like I'm only saying this out of experience, and I'm trying to. God, I'm trying so hard not to let my past relationship, or not in the past relationship, but I'm trying so hard not to let my past experience that I had with my father not dictate how I'm treating him now. But I feel as though he's not making the effort to make more memories or to make better memories. You get what I'm saying? He's not making the effort, even though I've tried. Chad, I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying so hard, trying to figure this shit out, and I don't know. But I know based on what I've been dealing with my mom, I know that forgiveness does work. Okay. Even though I don't miss the horrible stuff my mom said to me, but I do miss the good stuff, and the good does outweigh the bad when it came to her. So that's why I'm still mourning her. And so because I don't have a lot of good stuff with my dad, it's kind of hard for me to be like to continuously try. You get what I'm saying? I guess, child, maybe I just need. Let me call him. Oh no, Chad. I'm trying to figure this out. But please, those who are out there, let me wrap this up because I've been rambling for 40 minutes. Please, 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 parents, please, um, please do forgive people. Even if it's toxic people or people who have done you wrong in the past, you don't necessarily have to be around them. Okay, but let it go so that your mind can be at ease. Okay, because you don't want the situation that you dealt with this person affecting how you deal with somebody else. Okay? You don't want that happening. So try, just forgive people, and it don't have anything to do with the other person. It has something to do with you. Don't let yourself be burdened with other people's ignorance. You get what I'm saying? Like even today, even though I've said all this shit about my dad and our relationship or the lack thereof, if my dad were to fall ill right now, I will be there to help him pick up the pieces. You get what I'm saying? And I would do him just like I did my mom. When my mom fell ill, I did everything that I could to help her out and to ease everything else. Even though I remember how you did me back in the day. I remember how you did me when I was a child. But I'm going to let that go. Okay? And then I'm going to try to help you out. You get what I'm saying? So please, y'all, forgiveness is a powerful thing. And you should forgive people even though they've done you wrong. Forgive them for you, just so that you can be at ease, so that you not walking around life carrying stuff. Because let me tell y'all something. Carrying extra weight is not pretty. It's not a good thing. Okay? Carrying extra weight ain't good. Let me tell you from personal experience. Carrying extra weight is not nice. Okay? And I have forgiven a lot of people. That's why I'm not constantly cussing people out right now, because especially since what's been happening, I got the right and I got the reason to, but I refuse to. So please, if you don't do nothing else, just let folks go, let their actions go, because they ignorant. Lord knows they don't know what the hell they doing. And look out for Pick a Struggle Show. We'll be back next Sunday, this coming up Sunday. And we can't wait. So that's it. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace in the Middle East and a bottle of hair grease. Ooh, yeah.